You're watching Beyond Markets. I'm Kenneth Igbomo and welcome. On today's show, we'll find out what Dubai has in store for the rest of the world as the one-year countdown to the World Expo 2020 kicks off. Then we'll discuss the challenge of malnutrition in Africa and what can be done to achieve better outcomes in Africa. You can join these conversations with the hashtag Beyond Markets. Also follow my handle, that's at Kenneth Igbomo. Now, the one-year countdown to the World Expo 2020 in Dubai has begun as the city will be the first in the Middle East to host the World Expo 2020. So what can we expect from Dubai next year? CNBC Africa's Esther Awoniyi caught up with John Addo-Obiri. He's the country manager for the Dubai Expo 2020 from Abu Dhabi, and they discussed this and more.
We are in the final phase, as you said, on the build-up to Expo. We are 1 year to go, so we are currently in the process of just getting together all the countries, making sure that they can finalize all the content in their pavilions, finalizing construction on their pavilions. The work on the site is ongoing, and we are in the final stretch, so everybody is very much energized by this last hurdle that we need to cross. We know that we can do it, we are going to do it, and we are very excited to open the doors when 20th of October 2020 comes around.
I'm curious to know, what's it, because I know that you have been preparing for the last 6 years or so. What's it been like preparing for one event for over 6 years?
Well, preparations have, of course, been, as you mentioned, they've been ongoing. The bid to host Expo was announced in 2013. So since then, the UAE has been working around the clock. Dubai has been working around the clock so that we can deliver this event to the world. Of course, it's involved collaborating with a number of countries and nations from around the world and working together to make sure and ensure that our theme of connecting minds, creating the future, manifests tangible results for the world. Of course, as I mentioned, connecting minds, creating the future is the theme for Expo. So this, in a nutshell, recognizes that generating sustainable solutions to global challenges will require collaboration across countries, nations, and regions. So, of course, we see very much Expo as a platform to not only through the event serve as a catalyst to change the world, but also through our legacy phase to leave an impact on the rest of the world following the Expo.
And I know, John, some analysts have told us that many times the reality of expos does not usually sometimes match the hype. Now, if you just think back, we've had a couple of disappointments in the past. What assurances do the over 25 million people that you're expecting, I suppose, what assurances do they have that the Dubai experience is going to be one of a kind? Okay, so as I mentioned, there are a number of things that will set this Expo apart from the other expos that have taken place in the past. First of all, it will be the very first Expo to take place in the Middle East, Africa and South Asia region. Of course, this will bring Africa closer than it's ever been before to a World Expo. Secondly, Expo will also be implementing its policy of one nation, one pavilion. Expo 2020 Dubai will be doing that for the very first time, meaning that every single participating country will have its very own pavilion. On top of that, countries will also be grouped not according to their geographical location, such as been the case in the past, but rather according to their chosen sub-themes, meaning that you can have countries from the African continent surrounded by countries from Europe, from Americas and so forth. And what this does is, of course, facilitate our theme of connecting minds, creating the future. Well, I was just going to ask you, I'm happy you mentioned the theme. I was just going to ask you about the theme, connecting minds, creating the future. What informed, why that choice of theme?
Well, Esther, the theme of connecting minds, creating the future, in a nutshell, recognizes that generating sustainable solutions to global challenges will require collaboration, as mentioned, across countries, nations, and regions. So in a nutshell, what this means is we will be looking at, underneath this umbrella, 3 interconnected sub-themes of opportunity, mobility, and sustainability that have been identified as fundamental drivers of progress. And through these themes, we will be achieving the theme of connecting minds, creating the future. So, for example, opportunity, we'll look at unlocking the potential of individuals and societies to shape a better future. Mobility, we'll look at examining a smarter, more productive movement of people, goods and ideas. And sustainability, we'll look at our relationship with the world which we inhabit.
Okay, but I'd like to also ask you this. Now, I know that obviously a lot has gone into preparations, so much money, billions of US dollars has been spent. And I know that some of the officials in Dubai have said that this is much more than a 6-month trade fair or trade expo. Why is this so important to Dubai?
Well, as you mentioned, yes, of course, it's a significant project, but not only to Dubai, but also to the UAE and the region as a whole. For this reason, Dubai is looking at the Expo 2020 as a long-term investment. In fact, independent forecasts have highlighted that by the year 2031, Expo is projected to generate about $33 billion in economic value. The site itself is located in the Dubai South, close to Al Maktoum International Airport. This airport is currently being developed to be the world's new largest airport with a capacity to handle 200 million passengers per year. Apart from that, it's also very close to Jebel Ali Seaport, one of the world's largest shipping container ports. It also hosts Dubai Exhibition Center, which is a 45,000 square meter exhibition space, which will be the largest in Dubai upon completion. So all of these are contributing factors towards transforming the site and the area into a thriving economic hub. And of course, this is one which will provide many opportunities for the youth to look towards the future with optimism.
Now tell us, so because I know that this Expo 2020 is also coinciding with the 50th anniversary of the UAE in 2021. How does this change preparations? Does it make it even more elaborate, or everything is just going to be celebrated as one?
Well, we'll have a little bit more information about how that's going to work closer to the time. I myself am working directly with the pavilion, so I don't have the exact information on that. But as we get closer to the expo, we will be revealing a little bit more about the different types of celebrations that will be taking place at Expo 2020 Dubai, bit by bit, especially since now we are 1 year to go. So, of course, we know that the public is eager to know what to expect at 2020 Dubai. But you can be sure it's not only specific days, but it's going to be 173 days of fun completely for all the families, talks, panels, keynote addresses, forums, trade shows, concerts, ballet, theatre, anything, you mention it.
So, John, let's talk about how this is going to give the UAE, but specifically Dubai's economy, a boost. Now, I know that Dubai is pushing more these days on its tourism sector to diversify the economy away from dependence on oil. So how does this Expo 2020 fit into the overall tourism strategy of the country?
Well, as mentioned, Esther, as you mentioned, Dubai is looking to diversify, and during the Expo, there will be 173 days through which people will be able to meet and network with different stakeholders from around the world through various events, programming events, investment forums, trade shows. So actually the Expo is a perfect platform from which to connect and network, create and learn from the best practices from 192 countries.
What kind of experience are you hoping that visitors will have? This is going to run for 6 months. There are going to be tourists, people from the business community from across the world are going to be in Dubai, in the UAE for this event. What do you want participants, tourists, to walk away with when they attend this expo?
Well, of course, we want people to walk away with the sense that they have been somewhere to a place that they've never seen before, they've seen something that they've never seen before, they've experienced things that they've never experienced before, and there will be, as mentioned, the best that the world has to offer at Expo 2020 Dubai. Every country that is participating is looking to showcase the best of what they have to offer. There are a number of firsts taking place. something for the whole family, from families to grandparents to businesses to governments. Everybody will have something unique to take away from the event.
One last question, and some people have also been asking me this, and I suppose you've probably been asked this question too. What's going to happen, because there's so many theme parks, I suppose, that are going to be built, and I'm just wondering what will happen to these structures when the expo is over?
All right, well, as part of the legacy plan for Expo 2020, we are retaining 80% of the site's infrastructure. So 80% of what is on site will remain. For example, some of the site's major thematic pavilions will remain. The sustainability pavilion will become a science exploratorium for kids. The mobility pavilion will be transformed into high-end office space, but in general, the site will become home to a new multi-purpose development, both commercial, residential, mixed-use development.